你说，路易莎也会梦见星空吗？
Lost Soul Aside is an upcoming action RPG by Ulti-Zero Games, serving as one of the key titles in the China Hero Project, a Sony-led program that aids local video game development in China. The highly anticipated IP will be gearing up for an ambitious 2024 launch on PS4 and PS5. Minus the fact that it'll take a few pages out of Square Enix's book, there's still a fair amount we don't actually know about the upcoming RPG. That said, Ulti-Zero Games has shared a rather generous amount of information in its 7+ years in active development. Question is, what is the story here, and how will players tie into it exactly? Lost Soul Aside will center its universe around Kaiser, following his accidental merger with the Symbiont Arena, a supernatural race. Joined by a crystal dragon that has the power to morph into whatever its companion needs, Kaiser will venture forth and collect allies in a bid to defy the authorities, an outfit that brand the protagonist as inhuman. As for what sorts of mischievous activities the duo will get up to remains unclear, though from the looks of the gameplay, both Kaiser and the morphing sidekick won't always see eye to eye, and will, for the most part, fight for control over what goes. According to the devs, Kaiser will be at the epicenter of a war-torn world, a realm in which authorities pull the strings. This is where you, at least from what we've gathered, will begin your epic quest. After that, well, who knows? Intriguing though, right? From what we've seen so far, Lost Soul Aside will feature a lot of components that cruise along the same wavelengths as Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy. What's more, it'll reportedly foster a rich and rewarding combat system that gives players the flexibility to adapt their playstyle and weapon choice to suit their playstyle to the battle at hand. Of course, with endless battles marked as the game's go-to bread and butter, players can expect to immerse in fluid and seemingly flawless real-time combat. And as it turns out, this crystal dragon of yours won't just be a backseat driver, but a weapon, a tool, and whatever your heart desires during your greatest times of need. Lucky you, outside of its ferocious melee and elemental combat, Lost Soul Aside will also incorporate its fair share of platforming and open-world exploration elements. So, expect more than rehashed combat sequences in a dingy sci-fi setting. Basically, it's been something of an underdog story for Yongbing, what with the project first starting out as a one-man hustle back in 2016. Yet, much to the world's surprise, Sony took the opportunity to claim the IP for its China Hero Project, a national program that helps support local developers, in the latter half of the same year. Since catching Sony's eye in 2016, Bing has gone on to form Ulti-Zero Games, a studio made up of over 40 incredibly talented and celebrated creators. What's more, Epic Games has commemorated the IP by handing it the most anticipated game and Dev Grant Awards. So, quite the fairy tale voyage so far. Then, with the strong support of Sony Interactive Entertainment China Hero Project, as well as development funding and the opportunity to bring Lost Soul Aside to a global audience, the development progress of Lost Soul Aside is steadily progressing, and we are looking forward to providing more updates and details soon, said producer Yang Bing in a press release. Of course, with the game being in active development for over 7 years, it's fair to say that a 2024 release is looking even more likely by the day. And to be fair, with both Sony and Ulti-Zero around to reinforce the momentum, it'd be hard to discard such a thought. Ulti-Zero Games did go on to release some early footage of Lost Soul Aside a fair ways back, and not just an early concept trailer, but a full-fledged gameplay preview, too. Ulti-Zero Games did go on to release some early footage of Lost Soul Aside a fair ways back, and not just an early concept trailer, but a full-fledged gameplay preview, too. Lost Soul Aside, being backed and published by Sony, will launch exclusively on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at some point in 2024. Does this mean it won't latch onto Xbox or Switch? Honestly, it's hard to say. That said, as it's being published by Sony, it's bound to be locked to PlayStation for the foreseeable future. Never say never, though, as we're still a year or so away from launch, it comes as no major surprise that Ulti-Zero Games hasn't revealed any special editions or pre-order bonuses. If we're lucky, then the devs should drop the details by year's end.
你说，路易莎也会梦见星空吗？